Good morning, people. What's going on? Welcome to the morning view. It's game day. It is game day. It is the beginning of the week in terms of the two games that we've got this week. Bayern Munich, Liverpool. Get your seatbelt like that. Click it in over there. And then hold on to it. Or
and the other one.
I was just about to say, you might even have the double. If you've got a racing car or a fighter jet or something like that, little go-kart or something, get the two like that. Clip them in, or you're on a roller coaster,
one over the head.
On.
One over the head.
Oh, Alton Towers settings.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, whatever it is that you need to secure yourself into your seat for this week, start it now. Okay, start it now. Loads of opinion about how this week's going to go. Obviously, I spent some time at Carrington yesterday. I wanted to kind of give you guys a feel for what was going on behind the scenes at Carrington. A lot of you guys have messaged me, and Owen wanted to talk about that as well, about the players' training. We're going to talk about that. Obviously, win or bust, because if we don't win, we have absolutely no chance of going through. And if we do win, we have some chance of going through. And I feel like a lot of people might have even given up even thinking about that. And maybe I have. Maybe my thing is more just try and play well, just to start getting some... confidence, dare I say the C word, whatever that looks like, whatever that means, because Bournemouth was so bad. And then whatever happens from there, because the rest is out your hands. But almost like a Roy Keane, do your job first, and then pray, win and pray. I think that's what I said yesterday in my preview. So a lot to talk about, Owen.
Appropriate title, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's win or bust and then pray afterwards. You know what I mean? It's a bit of that. Yeah. Yes, it was very interesting yesterday to see all of the goings on at Carrington. Obviously, the press conference I thought was pretty actually nondescript, apart from the end, apart from Scott McTominay kind of, doing his sort of rallying cry behind the manager, which I thought was quite interesting, because that felt quite forced, but in a good way. Forced in the sense like he really wanted to get that in. He really wanted to sort of shoehorn in.
No one asked him that bit.
Yeah, he was waiting for the question, and the question never came. And then he thought, well, this is the last question, so I'm just going to get this out, which I thought was quite interesting. I also found it was very interesting about the training. This is something I did want to bring up, because I saw so many people yesterday on social media get very angry about the training and the rondos, and saying, oh, look, this is how terrible quality they are. And, in fairness, you would look at like the touches, the passes. I mean, you were there in person. Not great flex, not great touches. But there is this weird misconception that is actually what training is for Manchester United, because I've seen people going, if that's the standard of training at Manchester United, that's why Eric Ten Hag needs to go. And you have to go... that process maybe needs to be explained a little bit. So after a press conference, there's 15 minutes, and it's a tight 15, if I'm not mistaken, Flex, isn't it? It's a tight 15.
Yeah. It's properly, like, fully timed. Like, as soon as the training starts or the players get out, the clock starts. And then as soon as it gets to, like, 14:58, right, guys, thank you. Yeah, thank you, media. Yeah, it's
exactly.
Very, very quick.
It's a tight 15. And it literally is just for the cameras. So I've seen some comments saying, the people looking excited or happy or this. It's all for the cameras. Yes, literally that session is purely for the cameras.
That was PR.
It's not reflective of the actual training. It's essentially fake. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a bit of a warm up, get the blood going a little bit, but it's not training. It's not actual training,
No, it's not. And I've been to, as you guys know, as we've brought you the footage, I've been to many of those open training sessions. And I have to say, the players never come that close. I thought about this afterwards, about what we saw. I was saying this to Josh. Normally, they come out. We was on a different pitch as well. Was even on a different training pitch. And this is another thing. I sort of brought it up to the club comms, and because normally we come round the side where the Jimmy Murphy centre is, and you have to basically, if I describe it to you, you have to walk all the way around the outside of the pitches, and it's not on the grass bit where it's all nice and flat. It's in it's in gravel. It's in mud. And in this, obviously, time of year, we've been saying loads of times, flipping it, look, I was getting all muddy. They don't show you this bit about Carrington. You walk all the way around the side to get to the pitches on the far side. This time, and everyone's moaned about that for ages, this time, it was on, as soon as you get out the Jimmy Murphy Centre and go around the corner, it was the first pitch. So I remember saying, "Oh, I didn't have to get the plastic bags out and go in my wellies and that because you didn't take us basically round the marshes." And they were saying, "Yeah, well, trying to improve media relations." It was that. So everyone was kind of like, "Okay, oh, right, okay." And I remember thinking, well, it has been a bit of a turbulent time. Maybe they're just trying to change things a little bit. And then what happened was, so me and Josh are setting up, cameras are, and then obviously everyone's in a line. And Benny McCarthy comes over, Quinton Fortune. Benny comes over and he's setting out his cones, putting the bits wherever he needs to put them. And I'm like, and he's proper in his zone, like counting out, the yards and where everything needs to go.
Yeah.
And then he sees me, so he starts, he waves, and I say, "Benny, come on, get the right number of steps." He said, "I'm sorry, I'm in my own world." I said, "Yeah, good is not good enough. Get them where they need to be." And then as soon as I said that, he went, "Yeah, good is not good enough." And then, and this will give people more context as to that. It's just like, it was for some positivity to raise what's happened. Then, so I was like, "Oh, they're putting these, this rondo square or this training thing that you guys saw." I said, "This is awfully close. They never come this close." And I was like, "This must be for later on in the session. They're not doing this in the first 15 minutes. No chance." They're like, I could literally reach out and touch all the players, as you saw from the videos. So they came out for their run, and usually their run is quite far away from you. And then they do a couple of like keep balls, but not even that type of rondo, like just the normal rondo. The one where it's,
a couple of separate groups,
one touch, two separate groups. If the two in the middle don't get the ball, they've got to do press ups, and then just the normal one, not the 5v2 one. I think like that one was. And then they finished their jog and then came over to that bit, and I was like, "Bloody hell, what's this? This is different." I said, "This is different. They never ever do this. Been doing this sort of behind the scenes in the club media situation since United View for about a couple of years now, maybe 3 years, a little bit on United Stand, maybe, if I remember correctly, but the best part of 2 years, and they've never, not once, come over." And then I'll tell you something else that happened. Mitchell van der Gaag comes over to sort of fine tune the squares and stuff.
Yeah.
And he says to the press officer, Andrew Ward, from about, he's really close. Again, like I said, I could reach out and touch him. He goes, "Andrew," "which one of these is banned? They're allowed back in now. They're allowed back in." And everyone starts sort of laughing. Everyone starts laughing. And then Andrew's like, "You tell me, Mitch, like, which ones do you want gone?" Like, it was that yesterday, when I look back on it, was them trying to ease the tensions, move on from what happened.
I was going to say move on.
Yeah, and then the last thing I would say is I was told as well that Eric, because I don't know if you guys realized that the press conference was a little bit shorter. I don't know if you guys felt it or saw it. Obviously we didn't get a question, and normally the German media would get it. There would have been a lot more questions, especially in the Champions League ones. They go on quite a while.
Yeah.
And I was told that Eric didn't want to do a lot of talking. He said, I was told by the club, there's only so much times we can apologize for bad performances and say we're going to bounce back and this, that, and the other. We just want to get into training and get to the game and do the talking on the pitch. That's what I was told. And you sort of go, well, yeah, good. We don't want to just hear lip service. We want to see it. So I did learn a lot from yesterday. And like you say, that rondo and that level of happiness is absolutely for the cameras. That is not what the players do from minute 1 to minute, 90, if their training's an hour and a half or 2 hours, whatever, of training, just doing that. And don't get me wrong, yes, the quality when they were having fun and the thing was awful.
It was poor.
And
but that's poor. I mean, we didn't post it, but I was going through some of the footage yesterday, and Donny van der Beek has probably done the worst press up I've ever seen in my life.
When I saw that, I think I swore in that video. I don't know if you took it out. Did you not? Oh, you said you did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I saw it, and I thought, I said, "Effing hell, Donny." But again, one, it's for fun and stuff, but two, there are little bits where they're going to be indicative of somebody's mood. Like Donny van der Beek is not going to put it in for the most perfect form of press up, when the guy he's just, I don't even know what he's still doing there,
Well, and also,
and
like
you said, by the way,
it's no excuse. It's no excuse. But at the same time, like I said, it's not training. You know what I mean? It's like this. It's sort of this weird faux, like half training, half like I don't know, performance thing, because basically a lot of the comparisons, I don't know if you saw this, were of the rondos that were going on yesterday and like Ajax training under Ten Hag, right?
Yes.
And obviously
Yeah.
under the Ajax, they're going, this is night and day and all this kind of stuff. And you go, look, obviously it looks night and day, but it's funny, isn't it? How people pick up on certain things and that just becomes law, isn't it? That's United's training session for 2 hours every day. That's it. That's all.
And that's why they're rubbish. And then obviously,
rubbish.
The Bruno thing happened right in front of me. So obviously I just thought it'd be nice to share. But I knew what was going to come back. Oh, the amount of messages. Oh my God. When I put, Bruno hates to lose. And I think we put something on our socials.
Yeah. Bruno always wants to win.
Yeah. And oh my God, if I show you the DMs I received, rival fans first. So AGT, well, he seems to lose a lot, doesn't he? And then, White Yardy. Oh yeah, well, he's used to losing. Then our fans, the state of him, it was so negative. But I get it. I get why people feel that way.
I get it.
To see Bruno being competitive in the rondo and say that's the born winner we need because that's what he does on the pitch. And no, the guy got himself, banned from the match on Sunday. For just being silly and petulant. So, look, I get it, and I didn't push back to them people to say, "Look, what are you?" That's just these people got their opinion, innit? That's what it is.
I mean, with that, like, again, this is what kind of humored me a little bit yesterday. So they're doing that thing in front of the cameras, and they're laughing and joking, and I saw, like, legitimately quite a lot of people being like, "Why are they laughing and joking?"
Yeah.
After one of the weekend, they should be smiling.
Yeah, everyone messaged me that. Yeah.
But that is when you sort of go like, if that is triggering you that they're laughing, then I would recommend not watching the training because that is always going to happen.
Especially stuff they put out. You know what I mean? That you see from club media
training in
or
silence. Yeah, exactly.
No.
Maybe in training, if they're joking around Eric Ten Hag about crack the whip, going, no, it's just bullshit. Like we've done the performance for them. You know what I mean? Now we put the work in or anything like that. But like it must be stressed. Like that is not reflective of really anything. Positively or negatively at the same time.
I think a better conclusion to come to, like, not just have I gone a bit blurry, like out of focus? Oh.
You're a little bit out of focus.
That was a bit annoying. Is that better? It's been all blurry there. Yeah, there you go. Technology. I think a better assumption would be to make across the board is, obviously results and style of play and things like that, and the up and downness of the team, the inconsistency of the team. You go, what is happening in overall training, like the actual real training, like what?
Yeah.
Because the methods and the style and the instructions of what we're trying to do on the training pitch aren't transpiring to the pitch. They're not.
Yeah. Well, that was interesting.
That's a valid. Do you know what I mean?
That was interesting in the press conference. Is that whenever anyone asked why are you inconsistent, no one really had an answer. You know what I mean? Like McTominay was asked it, and he just kind of like skirted by going, "Yeah, we got to get better." And it was like, "Well, there's no real answer." Eric was asked. He once again said, "Well, injuries. Backline. We've had some injuries." And you go, "A lot of people had a lot of injuries, Eric." You know what I mean? So, yeah, it was interesting, certainly. But now, as we move in today. Now you've slept on it. Now that it's game day, are you feeling any different about it? Now that you've spoken to Thomas Tuchel?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Because I spoke to Thomas Tuchel and I spoke to Jamal Musiala, which was good experience, actually. They both speak really well. I remember saying to Josh, I was like, not that we don't remember from when he was at Chelsea, PSG and Dortmund or whatever, but Thomas Tuchel's a really good talker. We can say like, yeah, well, doesn't matter, mate. Look what happened at Chelsea, but essentially he had a couple of good, won the Champions League, had him competing.
Get sacked.
I was unlucky to sack. Yeah, it was almost like, Todd Bowley comes in and they should have kind of maybe hit a reset and go forward with that manager, but they decided.
Todd came in when I know better. This guy doesn't want to work with us. And Thomas Tuchel was raising legitimate flags about going, you cannot operate like this. And guess what? They can't.
They can't. So he was actually right. But but speaking with him and the length of answer and detail that he gave to every question, including ours, was really refreshing. The same with Jamal Musiala. You forget he's only 20, man. It's insane. He's such a good player. He destroyed us in that first leg as well. Seeing him again, I remembered back to the first leg of how good he was in transition. When he gets on that half turn, he drives at you. He's amazing. Watched him in the World Cup in person as well. Brilliant player.
They call him Bambi.
I can see why he does. He just skips past people like they're not there. He's a brilliant player. But what I did I'll go back to your question of how do I feel now? I've spoken to those two, and then I saw the training, and obviously their training wasn't anything. There wasn't no shooting practice where I saw Harry Kane putting it in the top bins 10 times in a row. They were actually over the far side in the Sir Alex Ferguson stand, the furthest away from the media you can get, which is what normally happens in these open training sessions, which is why I was so surprised at United one. But just seeing them in all white, seeing the big man there, the big players there, I was right close to Neuer just doing his, goalkeeping drills, clean, crisp, catching everything, then listening to Musiala and more importantly, Thomas Tuchel. Listen, forget the Bayern 5-1 against Frankfurt, because they keep bringing it up themselves. They're here to put that right. They're through already. They don't care about that. And it's Man United. And Thomas Tuchel, I know people say he's lying. I saw some of the comments when I asked him a question about how dangerous does he think we can be, even though basically we're crap. He was like, Man United can always be dangerous. And to be fair, from his time in England, he knows that. Like, we weren't great in the time when, he was here. But I don't think he didn't come to Old Trafford and win, did he? And a couple of games at their place.
Chelsea haven't won at Old Trafford.
Haven't won in ages. And a couple of games at their place. Even at their place, I don't think there's been a couple of 0-0s.
Yeah. And also, like his point of reference in the Bayern game, as he pointed out, he going, well, they scored 3 against us. You know what I mean? And even he says, he goes, we didn't start that game very well last time.
No, 20 minutes is on, exactly. So he was, but back to the Bayern side, it reminded me that they ain't here to play. Like, there's no... we might let this guy not play. We knew Harry Kane would start, but he even said, Harry Kane starting tomorrow. What do you think? What do you think? Just because we're through big Champions League and big Harry Kane's chasing records and all these things, where you think he just gets to just because we're already through and it's against Man United back in his head? What do you think? Musiala's just not going to play? No, all the big men are playing. So it didn't fill me with confidence. No, it didn't. But it just all it did was reinstate to me in my head that this is a tough game, and anything of them taking their eye off the ball or not taking it seriously, forget it. If we beat them, we're going to have to be good.
Yeah, and even that might not be enough, and that's the whole, and that's the point of it. You got to.
Do you care about that, Owen? How much? And you guys at home as well. Let us know. Actually, smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Just under 100 likes, nearly 800 people watching. On the way up to 1,000. Let's get to 1,000 people watching. Let's get sharing. Aminor, big up member for 11 months as always. Says Flex, Robbie was cooking you on DR Sports. I can imagine. I swear Matisse sounds like a United fan with the problems at Chelsea. I fear for KG when he sees X next. Glory Man United. Yeah, whenever KG does the next best of enemies or whatever it is, he's got to hold some serious corn. And I can imagine how they were going in on me. They were in the group chat saying, "Oh, you're shirking you're not taking your licks." I said, "Listen, you know me. I'm always there. I've got the reputation for always turning up. I couldn't even, out of being busy and not making a show, I couldn't even gloat when we beat Chelsea because I couldn't make that show. Like, you know what I mean? So, but I will be in on Monday, and they could have a field day. Sorry, Thursday. I'm going to be in. So we could have lost to Bayern by then, and then be out, and then Monday I'll be in as well, and we all know what's going to happen on Sunday. So I'm not shying away. And another super chat here from Matt Ross says, Man United confirm Ahmad has returned to full training. Yes, and I did see him there yesterday in full training, which was nice to see. But I was asking you, Owen, and you guys at home, are you allowing yourself to think about Champions League qualification because you still really want it, and as long as there's a chance, I really want us to do it? Or are you more thinking just try and have a reaction to get a bit of confidence to see where that leaves us? Or are you like, you're lucky I'm even watching this? Like, I can't even be bothered. Like, where are you at?
Well, I was going to say also as well, with the super chats and the comments, whatever, get some questions in this morning because this is a very open forum today. So get some questions in. As for how I'm feeling about it, because the possibility of if we win, because I've seen people say, and even Ten Hag kind of said this yesterday, like win and we stay in Europe, as if to say like, Europa League. And I don't like that. I just cannot be bothered with Europa League this season. Like, but then at the same time, are we suggesting that our woes are just down to like, like Ten Hag keeps saying, you just got to do it every 3 days. You've got to prove it every 3 days. You've got to be consistent every 3 days. I don't think if we were playing every 7 days, then we would be that much different, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
it's not
I
just the
don't put
schedule
it
that's
down
doing
to like
this.
fatigue or anything like that, really.
No.
I think it's just down to poor quality and just not being good enough. So that's what, like, but even like last season, right? When we were in the Europa League, I feel like we were quite up for the Europa League because one, we were like, well, it's a good chance to qualify for the Champions League. And two, we were favourites in that competition because we looked around at the quality in the competition and we said, we're better than all of these teams. And as we were going on, and after we beat Barcelona, we're like, we're going to win this thing. A couple of teams dropped down and all that. We were like, well, I'll be a bit tough. We were basically saying we were going to face Juventus in the final. That's what we were saying. Like last year, that's what we're going to face Jose in the final. That's what's going to happen. Something like that. And then obviously by the end, we went out the way that we went out, but the blow was kind of softened a bit because we were like, we're going to qualify for the Champions League anyway. It would have been nice to get a European trophy, but it's not too bad. This time around, if we dropped into the Europa League, I'd be like, well, why don't I want to be in it? Because I just cannot hear that theme music again. And two, we're not the favourite. We won't win it if we went in there.
Of course not. Mate, we're going to buck up on Liverpool in it.
Exactly.
And whoever else drops down.
Or whoever it may be.
The Spanish team who's like Sevilla last year, who flipping, I know they got pedigree in the competition, but had like 3 managers in a season and still managed to get it together before they played us and rinsed us.
Exactly.
Then in the Champions League, and Arsenal deal with them like they're some League One team.
Yeah, so you want to obviously so tonight obviously want to win, go through and all that kind of stuff. But if we win and the prize for beating, a good Bayern Munich side and having a good performance at Old Trafford is being in the Europa League, you will be a bit like
it's a bit of a come down, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what I mean. But then you can say, like, beat Bayern Munich, something to build upon, I suppose. And look, if we beat Bayern Munich tonight, then I think everyone's assuming we're going to lose at the weekend, but it will soften that blow to an extent. He'll have that credit in the bank. Like,
yeah, because not a lot of people expect us to win tonight.
Well, but if we lose, so we get like thrash 5-0 tonight, right? And then we go to Anfield and we think what happens is what we think is going to happen. Let's get the pressure. That's going to be very, very intense. I still hold to my opinion that as bad as it gets, Erik ten Hag's not going anywhere by the end of the week. He's not.
No, I agree. I mean, I went again. I'm no saint in this. Like, when you go to these games, and even if you don't go to these games, if you just watch these games as a fan, and depending on how you are as a person, you're so emotionally wrapped up, and it's very difficult. Some people find it more difficult than others to detach your sort of emotional response to your logical one, or the response that you get after you calm down, the response you get after a few days, all these types of things. And I believe that in anything, you have to have a bit of calm, have a bit of space, and just, understand the context of what's going on and give yourself that breathing room so you can make correct decisions going forward. I believe that. And I've been part of this whereby straight after that Bournemouth game, recording my reaction, my feeling at that time was so low that in my head, which even still could happen, but in my head, I'm saying, well, they've just done this against Bournemouth. Bayern Munich are coming next here. We're going to get smoked. That means you're out of the Champions League. We have to go to Anfield straight after that. We know what that's about and we know what the players are on. We're going to get smoked. And then I just came to the conclusion, I just thought, I don't know if Erik ten Hag can survive that week, a week that looked like that, And the more I've calmed down and got a bit of perspective, because I don't want Erik to get sacked. And I know, it's growing to the people that do, but I genuinely am in the camp of we can't sack Erik ten Hag. We have to see this thing out. We have to back this project and let the project unfold in the new project, if you get what I mean, which is all about change. Minimum. Yeah. And if, even in our worst moments, we haven't been an Arsenal where we finished 8th twice. We haven't been at Chelsea where we finished, where did they finish? 12th last year?
God.
Something like that. 10th, 12th. I mean? It's not even spoken about. And it probably isn't spoken about enough about a big club finishing that low in our worst times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we finished lower than 6th, have we? Maybe we finished 7th. 7th with Moyes, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, that's our worst. And the Rangnick season was just...
We
Oh my
finished
goodness.
sixth by a fluke. We lost the
Yeah,
last
because
game. It was a
Brighton
case
beat
of
West Ham, or
yeah,
West Ham beat
exactly.
Brighton. I think one of the two
Yeah,
on the last day. Exactly, because we lost to Crystal Palace. We didn't even do our job. But so I'm
yeah,
not. Listen, So you're saying it's all fine, Flex. Don't
yeah.
worry. I'm not
So you're
saying that.
saying seventh is good enough? Standards in the bud. I remember when this club used to be a giant. Flex.
Exactly. I am not saying that. But what I am saying is that I have calmed myself to agree with what Owen just said, which is that even if it's back-to-back L's in this week, which is highly probable, I don't think Eric Ten Hag gets sacked. There's the noises I'm hearing, Carve special, the noises, being around the camp is not, and more importantly, the journos, when the journos get a whiff of things, especially in a season defining week, for not even season defining, career defining for Eric.
Yeah.
If that was the case, that he was, a game or two away from it's over, it wouldn't feel like this. I don't
No.
think. It
No.
would
I mean,
and you think it can't intensify any more than this. It can.
absolutely,
It
absolutely,
can.
it can, and that's what I mean. That's going to be the real sort of litmus test, is to see if it gets possibly as bad as we think it may. With certain results, certain permutations. It'll be interesting to see if United buckle when it comes to that. But my sort of gut feeling on it is that they won't, because they actually can't. It's not even up for discussion, because it's not for those that are currently at the club to discuss. That's what my kind of feeling is. I think when we discussed it on the Full View on Sunday, it kind of really did click into my sort of mind that, like, again, those kind of decisions, they're just not going to happen until Ineos are here, and
Yeah.
they shouldn't.
And it'd be
And
stupid to, exactly.
exactly, and they shouldn't. So, as the longer that gets delayed, the more that Eric Ten Hag should probably feel fairly comfortable, actually, that
In a weird way, yeah.
yeah, the only thing could be is that if it does get so bad, and they really feel like they have to pull the trigger for the sake of the club or the sake of whatever, then
Mm.
that is when you get into interim territory. But in that sense, it only gets worse, I think, because then you've got someone in that role. You won't have a permanent manager, because that's too big of a decision to make for people that, again, aren't going to be there. So nothing. Again, this week I don't think anything's really going to happen, to be honest with you. My sort of feeling is it'll probably happen come the end of the season, if indeed that were to happen. And I don't want that to happen. I do want to find ourselves in a situation where, in a 18 months time to a couple of years time, we go, I tell you what, it got bad, and some people flipped, and now they flip back again. But we stayed the course, we stuck the course, and it worked out. It wasn't perfect. We had to change some things, and people had to kind of be reassigned, if you will, and their jobs title had to change a little bit. Eric Ten Hag had to become the head coach instead of the manager, of all things. Maybe that's the direction that we need to head in, but I don't think it will. I don't think you'll be gone by the end of the week or anything like that. But that's not to say it can't get bad, because it can. It really, really can. But
Yeah.
football at the same time is a funny thing, and at Flex, it is a funny thing. It's a strange thing.
Yeah.
Perhaps with Bayern Munich tonight, because they're going to be attacking and open, and they do give you opportunities, then we will score goals. I mean, that performance against Bournemouth at the weekend, so I still hasn't really settled in just the magnitude of that, because they beat us by 3. It was lucky to not be 4. They had the ball in the net. What was it, 5 times, 6 times in the game? We had the ball in the net 0 at Old Trafford against a team that started the day in 15th. That is crazy. That is insane. But I think we will. Do you think we'll get a goal tonight? I got a feeling we might. Problem is, Neuer's back in goal. So even that's got a bit better from last time. But they do give you chances.
He was in goal on the weekend, though, isn't it, when they lost 5?
Yeah, they do give you. The thing is, Bayern, and we said this going into the game at the Allianz, they do give you chances. They do. It's just a case of their sort of thing this season, for the majority of it is, we'll concede a couple goals. We'll score like 4 or 5, though. It doesn't matter. We've got Harry Kane.
What I did think was interesting, just to back up what I was saying, I just thought I'd read. Where is it? There it is. There. Samuel Luckhurst's piece, because he said United didn't look like a team in crisis yesterday at Carrington, and it's funny. It's not funny, but it just shows the sort of parallels in what I saw and what he saw. He says United players were in a buoyant mood during the open section of their training session on Tuesday. It is the closest us dedicated correspondents have been to a ball-related United session since Eric Ten Hag's first pre-season destination in Bangkok. So he's saying it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. Like, we were so close. That's not happened before. Like he said, apart from his first ever thing in Bangkok. And actually, I was there then. Actually, that was, yeah, I do remember that. It was close. The squad conducted pressing exercises with the enthusiastic Steve McLaren kept tally. Eric Ramsey kept score. Darren Fletcher joined in. Non-Bibs. A smiling Ten Hag watched on as he delegated Mitchell van der Gaag to oversee a drill. As van der Gaag was putting out the cones, this is how you know I'm not lying. As van der Gaag was putting out the cones, he called out to the communications director, Andrew Ward. Andrew, is everyone in today? Cue laughter, because we all laughed. Van der Gaag was asked if he would take exception to members of the band media being granted entry. He said, fine by me, he quipped. The Bonhomie did not show a club mirrored in another crisis. So, you know, it's not just me saying that as lip service for you guys. Like, that's genuinely what it was like. And I'm not saying you guys said I was lying. You're a liar, Fleck. But it's just interesting to see Samuel Luckhurst's piece there. Basically, actually, that is accurate reporting. I was there. I can confirm what Luckhurst has written is exactly what happened.
Thought it was funny with Luckhurst as well. I saw him tweet yesterday because he was in obviously the Bayern Munich press conference for Tuchel as well, and he sort of said, "Musiala here talking impeccable German, switching between both." And I thought, well, yeah, because he's German,
like, and English,
and English. But the point being is, like, I think his father's German. He was born in Stuttgart.
No, his dad's Nigerian. I think his mum's German.
Is it something like he was born in Stuttgart, wasn't he? Definitely born in Stuttgart. So I was reading up on him yesterday.
Went to school in South London, mate. Went to school in Croydon.
Croydon. And he switched a couple of times, I think, between.
Yeah, played all the way under 15s, under 17s, like
but
kind of under 21s for England.
Yeah, it did tickle me that he was like, and one of the games I was looking at, he played for, he might have been England under 17s, and he played against, I think it was the German under 17s or whatever. He might have been like the captain that day or something like that. It's quite a fascinating story. It's a really fascinating story.
Yeah,
you know, about him. But yeah, when I saw him speaking impeccable German, I thought, well, I would think so. You know, I mean, we're fascinated. We're fascinated here in England, aren't we? That when anyone's got just a second language, you go, it's very impressive.
Yeah,
it's very impressive. I wish I could speak more languages because it's such a tool, you know.
Yeah,
and I'd like, you know, going through school, we got, you know, we did like French and German. I did French and German for GCSE. Can't remember a lick of it now, Flex. It's a proper disappointment of mine. Terrible. So if you are learning the language, or if you're younger, because if you learn it when you're younger, that's where you got to get it in. That's the time to do it. Exactly. If you do it then.
Speaking of learning languages, big up KG Ta comedian.
By the way, KG the comedian. I've got a bone to pick with KG the comedian. This is Kevin Gary behavior. Okay, this is what this is.
Just before you say it, I can't really cuss him right now because I made a mistake yesterday as well, which made him go to the studio without him not knowing that they were at the Flex and KG show because I was at Carrington.
Good. And even did you try and contact him to let him know that?
Not properly. I kind of.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you did, because
it was my bad. It was my bad.
If you did, he wouldn't answer the phone. Yeah, because that's the kind of attitude and behavior that KG the comedian is pulling nowadays. Yeah, when I call him, and this is the thing, I know KG the comedian's game now because he goes like, "Don't message him because if you message him, he doesn't read WhatsApps. No problem. I'll try and call him. Doesn't pick up the phone. I do every form of communication. I do call. I do voice note and I do message, no reply. And then the worst thing is, you know, when you see on WhatsApp, was online 5 minutes ago, you go, okay. You're on your phone. Disgrace cheat. I know him. I see him. I see through him.
Maybe he just didn't want to talk to you. I don't know.
Well, you know, didn't want to talk to me. Didn't want to talk to the UV community as well. So that's the real crux of the issue.
Nikhil says send him a fax. Matt Ross says, oh no, I've read that one already. Ruben, big up to Ruben. Thank you for the super chat. He says I've got a good feeling we'll smash Bayern and Liverpool this week. Owen, keep this receipt.
I shall.
Wow, Ruben, you ain't playing. That is brave. Some may say stupid, but that is very brave.
Smash.
Yeah, exactly. Smash. Yeah. I can guarantee you we won't smash both of them. I can guarantee you won't smash either of them. I shouldn't really say that. That's being negative to somebody who's trying to be positive. That's rude.
Well, look, you never know. I apologize. Under the lights, Liverpool at Anfield for us to smash. That would be a real.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That would be rule left-in.
Mark Harris says, benching Mainu for McTominay is sackable. TikTok. Saying the clock's ticking. Shouldn't have benched Kobe Mainu for Scott McTominay. And obviously Scott McTominay's in the presser yesterday. So, yeah, I think it's almost certain that he will start. On the team today, Owen, because Rashford was ill. And do you know what? And during it took me a while to realise that he wasn't even there. And it's weird because, again, I didn't get the chance to ask this in the presser, but I was going to ask Eric this, along with maybe a couple of others. But I was thinking, as fans, we go through these moments with players where they're in bad form, right? So we say, get Bruno out the team, get Rashford out the team, start Garnacho, don't start Scott McTominay. Actually he's scoring, so yeah, better start him against Bournemouth. Get Luke Shaw in, yeah, keep him left centre back because right now the balance, yeah, keep Reguilon left back. You know, Wan-Bissaka, yeah, make sure you play him. Don't play Dalot, he's been rubbish. Oh, you know, make sure Johnny Evans doesn't play. Where's Varane? But okay, fair enough. We do all these things of play this person, play that person, and don't play Anthony. Now play him because the balance is better because Rashford's rubbish, you know. And then very quickly, a crisis game happens where you can't blame the people that you were saying don't play. And then you start going, Rashford's been out to get out of the team for a couple of times. You know, we beat Chelsea in one of them, and rubbish against Bournemouth. And then you're like, well, against Bayern, I mean, if he is going to have a good game, you need your best players on the pitch. Maybe we need to start Rashi. Garnacho's had loads of games now. Maybe we just switch it, you know. And then he's ill, and he wasn't even in training. And it's like, that's what I was going to ask Eric. It's like, no matter who we play, eventually we end up with a bad performance. So clearly, even our own assessment should tell us it's way more than just look at Marcus Rashford since the new contract. Look at Anthony since the things off the pitch since he come back. Look at Scott McTominay, scored a few goals, now he's rubbish. Look at Luke Shaw, he has to play centre back until Martin. It's more than all that. It's got to be tactics and coaching and not getting a message across.
This is what I was saying yesterday, because obviously the news about Casemiro being back out on the grass.
Yeah.
And it came across as quite negative, and I suppose in a sense it is. But I said that I don't know, I just can't get too overly excited about that, if that makes sense. Not because I don't like Casemiro, or he's not a good player, or he hasn't won the Champions League and all that kind of, because of course he has. And look, if your better players are back, you would hope that you play better. But it's a bit like, Casemiro's coming back, it's all going to be fine. But you remember him before the injury, and it's like, but he wasn't playing well. No one in the midfield has played well. That midfield's not working. So even if Casemiro comes back in, you still go, but that midfield system and tactics, it's not, the holes will still be there. They were there. We were all sort of saying, actually, you can't cover those gaps and he might have to go. You know what I mean? So like, it's funny what an absence will do to the perception of someone, right? You know what I mean? And I noticed that with Casemiro, but I suppose Leacher might be different. What do you think about Leacher? Because he's back yesterday too.
Yeah. Well, how different will it be when he gets back?
Yeah, well, is he like the one to be like, oh, actually, Leach is back now, so it's going to be all sorted? Is he going to be like that?
No, not all sorted. But look, it is about balance, isn't it? Like, clearly, we will play better when he's there. For how we want to play out from the back and how imposing he is on the ball and how good he is on the ball. Yeah, he might get done in a couple of duels here and there, but sometimes he's so aggressive that he's refreshing and wins it back quickly and gets out of tight situations. That matters with how you want to play. It shouldn't be because he's not there, the whole stack falls down like a block of Jenga. That shouldn't happen. But that matters that he's not there. Do you know what I mean? It has mattered that Luke Shaw hasn't been there for so long. And I know in the last game, we got absolutely done by Billing, but we weren't saying that the game before against Chelsea. We were like, you know, and when his first game back was what, Galatasaray? No, Everton it was. We were like, it's just good to have him back, you know. So you can't overlook them things because they do matter. When you don't have your main structure of what it is that you want, then it matters. But you're right. No, Leacher is not the one where if you just put him back at left centre back today, and put Luke Shaw back to left back, we're fixed. Because essentially, I just think it's deeper now. I just think a lot of these players just need a full clear out, all of it. And I know that sounds weird because we've allowed Eric Ten Hag to spend the best part of what he spent. But the ones who have serially failed, it's like, what's the point anymore? And I'm talking about some of our favourites, the ones that usually gets uncomfortable. Have you noticed that? And I don't know where you're at with this, actually. This is a good point. I am completely at peace with detaching from like the mainstays, the main names. Luke
Nobody's
Shaw,
above it. Nobody's
Rashford,
above it.
Bruno,
Even the mainstays for that.
Dallo.
Everyone.
Yeah. Do
It
you know
doesn't
what I'm
matter.
saying? Like,
It
I don't
genuinely
have
doesn't matter.
any, like, before I was always trying to think, but obviously, look, my end goal, if I can paint the picture still now, I would paint a better picture. I'd paint Marcus Rashford lifting the Champions League. I'd still paint that if I could. But I'm like, if that's not what it is, and we need a full clear out, bye.
To be fair, like
Goodbye.
I don't even really like get that because and I can only speak for myself, but me personally, I've never been like that. I was fans of David Beckham. I was fans of Roy Keane. I was fans of Ronaldo or Van Nistelrooy or whoever it may be. But and maybe this is quite cold. Maybe speaks more about me. But the moment they weren't Man United players, I don't really care anymore. You know what I mean? Because I'm a
No,
Man United fan.
exactly.
I'm not
A
a
player
you
F
know.
fan.
I like Roy Keane, but I wasn't a Roy Keane fan, or I wasn't a David Beckham fan. I liked them. And I like them when they play for Man United, but when they no longer play for Man United, it's kind of like, well, okay, I don't stop supporting Man United in that case. So
Mm.
that's always been the case, and it's the case of any of these players. If any of these players tomorrow's that they're leaving, cool. You know what I mean? That's it. You know. So yeah, if it means oh, we got to get rid of Bruno or Rashford, even though he just signed that contract, but actually it got to a point where he had to leave. Fine. No problem. Like that's why I really genuinely don't understand when people are like when it becomes player versus club. I've always thought like you're a Man United fan, you're not a player fan. So if they want to leave, never stand in their way. If that's what they want to do, like for instance, it goes back to like the Sancho thing. I get that people might sympathize with Sancho, maybe agree with some of the things that he believes or the way that he's been treated or been scapegoated, whatever. But then even if you're a fan of, say, Jadon Sancho's, you would then realize, well, it's best for him to leave then. That's best for all
Yeah.
parties, right? And
Yeah.
if you don't want to apologize, then you're going to have to leave, and that's best for him. I don't get the sort of mindset of, well, I'd rather Sancho be proved right and sort of the club go in the shitter. Like that to me makes I don't understand that, because as a United fan, I want to see Man United succeed. And if people aren't happy being at Man United, then they can go elsewhere. I've never got again that mentality, and I know people are different, and I'm not saying like people should support clubs this way or they should think the same as me because you support the club how you support the club. But like you said, if it means getting rid of these people that we think are playing well at the moment, the select few that they have to go, then they have to go. That is just what it is, and we need to move past that. This player's indispensable, that player's indispensable, because the way we're playing at the moment, nobody is. Nobody's like, oh my God, they have to. If we're going to win a Premier League flex, we have to keep this player. Nobody's like that. Does anyone feel like that to you at this point?
No, not at all. Not at all, mate. Not at all. And that's what we have to get our heads around. And I think most fans are at that point, because most fans are saying, listen, the players aren't getting away with this. Everybody can go if they need to go. We have to stick with a project and start getting ruthless. If that means some of the players who have been our biggest players or our most famous or the most highest paid, all of that stuff, we have to start undoing it. We have to start undoing all these huge contracts, all these big money for players who have achieved nothing at Man United. Nothing. Do you know, like, I was like at Arsenal, like, and I know it's different because we have more money than a lot of these clubs and we're the biggest club, but we do have to taper this whole big club thing. Do you know what I mean? It can't be the norm that players expect to come to Man United and as a starting salary, because you've got a bit of pedigree, i.e. Jadon Sancho, you can start at £350,000 a week. That cannot happen. We cannot get to a situation where a player like Martial gets a contract renewal in 2019 after, I think that was after or going into a decent season with Ollie when he did all right with Rashi that time in lockdown. But he got a new 5-year deal in 2019 and he's been on it ever since for 250k a week. And like you said, Owen, he hasn't completed 90 minutes in 3 years or whatever, however long it is, 3 seasons. Like
3 years, yeah.
What are we doing? We get a Real Madrid Casemiro who they're very happy to let go because they've done the right thing in bringing in the new generation of Camavinga and Tchouaméni and players like this, and then Jude Bellingham the year after.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
the reason
and what
he's
do we
leaving is
do?
because you can see the writing on the wall, can't he? He goes, "They brought in
Exactly.
Camavinga, Tchouaméni. They're looking for this midfielder. Blah blah blah."
Yeah.
Like my time, he
And
was on. He got man of the match Super Cup, and I think first game of the La Liga, he was on the bench. He went, "I've got to be out of here. I'm not going to
yeah,
play."
and to him, you know, there's good couple ways of looking at it, because when it happened, we did say fair play to Casemiro, because Man United is not a good place to come right now, and that shows that you're up for some sort of challenge. Well, you're either up to sit there and chill and get the peas, or you're up for some sort of challenge. And his first season showed us. I'm not going to take that away from him. He was up for a challenge. He carried us at that points last season. Some points he wasn't so good. A lot of, you know, suspensions, unfortunate, some forced upon him by himself. But in clutch games, he came through and he had some really big performances, to the point where we were all talking about who's the best defensive midfielder in the league. Is it Thomas Partey or is it Casemiro?
No, none of them.
Now it's Declan Rice. That's the answer.
It's no funny. They both don't play.
They both don't play. Arsenal fans are saying, listen, sell Partey's all injured. And now we're saying, if a big offer comes in, we have to let Casemiro go, because he's
Doesn't
not
that
that
debate feel like a million years ago, by the way?
it feels so stupid. It
Like a lifetime ago.
It shows us what we're like as fans. We're thick. Like, and I mean that with the greatest of respect to all of you. We're naive. And I say we because I'm in it. I'm on AFTV. Bloody, I come in peace thing saying, are you crazy? Casemiro. Now I'm like, yeah, if someone comes in from him in January, we've got to let him go. What was I thinking?
I was doing the same. I was on that super fan debate doing the same thing. Going, what are you talking about, Rob? We don't talk about Casemiro like that. Partey, he never plays. He's always injured.
Yeah.
They're both like, no, they both should go. That
Yeah,
was this year. That was 2023.
Exactly. But I get it. You have to live in the moment. Like someone just said in the comments there, Casemiro was better then. In that moment, he was. You know, I was battling that, you know, what are you talking about? I love Rashford all day over Martinelli. And at that point, it's true. Scoring loads of... I would have.
Yeah.
But now look. So
Yeah.
listen, that's what this thing is, isn't it? We talk about football every day. And like Sciliano says there, football moves fast.
It does.
It does. It moves fast. It's a humbler, as Grizz always says. Shout out to Grizz. Football's a humbler. You know, 1 minute I'm chucking it to Joey Knights and Matisse, you know, saying, hold that. You had the audacity to think that your team, you know, in the mud that they're in is better than mine. Like, there's levels to the mud, I said. Hold that. Completely expecting to go into Bournemouth and get back-to-back wins while they would lose to Everton again. And I just go about my business. Then I get slapped 3-0 to the point where Matisse actually gets angry again, and goes on Twitter and says, this makes it even worse for me. We lost to a team like Man United who just got pumped 3-0 by Bournemouth. We couldn't even go there and do anything. Yes,
well, the thing is, if the phrase football's a humbler, then what on earth is Matisse at this point?
Oh,
you know
well,
I mean?
he had his own funeral, didn't he? He said, I'm done. He said, I apologize for everything. You know, he said he's back to the 40 points thing again. He gets it now. He gets it.
I was going to say, because I've got a few Chelsea friends who are Chelsea fans, and I've been messaging them going, look, I know that I'm not really in the place to talk after the result of the weekend, and I know we're bad, but we're not Chelsea bad. Like, that is another level. That is another level to all that kind of stuff. And I know that's very sort of small victories because we don't have a lot to cheer about at the moment, to be honest with you. But it's just ironic, isn't it? The two names that were linked to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Erik ten Hag, Poch.
And remember, I know, look, you can say Poch is worse. It's very easy to say that. Listen, people in glass houses and all that, because we're not doing all that great. But remember at the time, I went, you know, and I got really criticised for that. And some people might still say, no, Fleck, you're still way off that. Poch is.
But the question is, would Poch have done what Ten Hag did last season? I don't think so. I don't think he would have.
Yeah, probably not. You know, and I am glad we got Eric, and I just want it to work. Ruben, after that super chat about keeping the receipts, has also decided to join the UV members club as well. So welcome, Ruben, to the UV family. Big up to you. We've got just under 1,200 people watching. Not even 200 likes. Come on, guys, push the likes up, push it up. By the end of the stream, in a few minutes, it would be nice to get 500. I know that might be a bit of an ask, a bit of a push, but you can do it. You can do it. Just hit the like button in hope or, you know, fear of tonight's game, whichever it is that you are. Just smash a like on the video, support the channel. It'd be great. But we didn't actually get into that bit, Owen, because we kind of went off on a tangent there. But yeah, what do you think the team should be tonight? And you guys in the chat, let us know what your team should be tonight.
Honestly, I thought after that Chelsea game, I thought we'd found a settled team. Now, genuinely, no, I don't actually know what he'll pick tonight.
Yeah.
I don't, because Onana in goal, right back. It could be either. It could be either at this point, right? We thought
might go
Dalot got it.
Wan-Bissaka again, you know.
Might go Wan-Bissaka again just because defensive. But Wan-Bissaka,
and out there, you're going to have probably Kingsley Coman on the left and Sane on the right.
Probably. So you go maybe Wan-Bissaka, but Wan-Bissaka against Newcastle was really bad.
Awful. Yeah, that was his first bad game in a while.
But then Dalot was not good against Bournemouth either. But okay, let's go Wan-Bissaka. Right centre back will be Harry Maguire. It will.
Yeah.
Left centre back. I'm a big Luke Shaw advocate at left centre back, but I don't think that's going to happen today. But then you get into the territory of, well, if Victor Lindelof is still up in the air, he did train yesterday, didn't he, Lindelof?
He did train yesterday. He was there.
He trained. So it might be him. If not, it'll go Johnny Evans. He don't care about playing Johnny Evans in a big game. He's done it a few times this season. In fact, flex, Johnny Evans is going to start left centre back tonight. He will.
Yeah. Johnny
Evans is going to start. So that's going to be a thing. Left back then will be Luke Shaw. Midfield, it will be McTominay because he was in the press conference. And then just by sheer options that are left, you would say, is he going to put Kobbie Mainoo in, or is he going to put Amrabat? He's probably, I think, going to go with Amrabat. I don't think he'll put Kobbie in straight away. When you've got nothing to lose, because we genuinely don't, I'd just play Kobbie. Screw it, see what happens. You know what I mean? But I think he might go Amrabat. Front then 4, it'll be Bruno in the 10 because you're not playing at the weekend. So it'll be Bruno.
Well, you say the 10, but ain't it McTominay who ends up there?
Well, it'll be Bruno somewhere.
Yeah.
I think his role's not that defined anymore. Bruno, left-hand side. I would still think it'll be Garnacho. If Rashford missed training yesterday because of illness again, and Garnacho wasn't great at the weekend, but still, I think you'll go with Garnacho. Right-hand side. Then I suppose it's got to be Anthony. And up front, well, take your pick.
That's Højlund, doesn't it?
Take your pick. I mean, Champions League pedigree, did score against Bayern before, be Højlund. They're probably that, to be honest. And I'm going to be totally transparent, Flex. That team does not fill me with a lot of inspiration.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't disagree with a lot of what you said, really. I think Luke Shaw will go back to left back. Obviously, it's between Evans and Lindelof. I think he'd probably go with Evans.
I think he will, because he'll look at the that run of games in November when we were getting that sort of clean sheets or whatever. A lot of the time, it had Maguire and Evans.
Evans, yeah. I think he'll go with Evans and Maguire. I think Wan-Bissaka will come back in. I'm looking at their team from the last game they played.
How mad is that, by the way? It's 2023, and the centre-back partnership for Bayern Munich, and we're going and I get injuries, but we're going, the centre-back partnership we're going with, because they've been performing the best together, is Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans. That's become normalised way too fast, hasn't it? Because we were outraged. Remember when they played against Arsenal at the Emirates? They came on, we were like, what the F is going on?
That's the reason we lost. They should never play for us ever again.
This is Leicester 2017's centre-back pairing, and now we're in December, and we're like, probably going to be Maguire Evans, and we move on quickly. We go,
Champions League Varane just continues to sit on the bench in the Champions League. You couldn't write it, could you? And I'm just looking at their team last time out. Obviously, Harry Kane was up front. They had Choupo-Moting in the 10 because Musiala was on the bench, but obviously, I think he was coming back from injury, so he should be fine. It was Sane on the left, Coman on the right, but that's as interchangeable as you can ask for. Goretzka and Kimmich, they'll probably start again. Upamecano, Kim Min-jae, Alphonso Davies, and obviously Missouri as well. So I think their team will pretty much be that. The only thing that could change is maybe who else? Lemaire, maybe Conrad Lemaire could come in at right back instead of Missouri, but again, it's slim pickings. It's going to be a strong team, really, really strong team. And obviously Neuer in goal. For us, and I don't know if Serge Gnabry's travelled, I'm not sure.
No,
Thomas Muller's always okay. There you go. And Thomas Muller's always knocking about because he's just an elite professional who's always knocking about. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Rashford can make the squad even though he was ill, because it's weird because he was a doubt with illness for the Bournemouth game, but made the bench, and obviously came on and ran around actually weirdly. So I don't know. Is that a knock-on effect from actually he just didn't quite get over that illness, so he should be fine? Because
I
he
don't
hasn't been
know.
like he's missed training yesterday, but that's not enough to knock him back where he just can't play. He's not fit. Like if he's missed training, he should still be able to start tomorrow if he just needed to just have the morning off.
Well, I saw that Insider United account said that no, he's definitely ill, and even referenced the word Imodium. So maybe that might give an indication as to what's been going on. Well, I wasn't going to be that sort of brutal at sort of 10 o'clock in the morning, you know what I mean? But so it might be something like that. So maybe he'll be on the bench. But I also saw that they said that Martinez, it could be, if all goes well, 2 to 3 weeks before he's back. So maybe we might have Leacher for the beginning of the new year, which would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be nice.
That would be good.
Martinez,
that would be good. Also, if anybody is interested in knowing, on Twitter, there is a document that is saying that, the departure of Richard Arnold has been formalised with Company's House, as has his replacement by Patrick Stewart. And there is a document where you can see where that has happened, just if you're interested in seeing that. Not that you would be, because we knew that was going to happen anyway. Anyway, well, again, my seatbelt's not coming off for 7 days. So
we've got a new member, by the way, Flex.
Oh, let me go back to that. Apologies. Big up to Chad. Big up to you, Chad. Chad Ferrand is the latest member of UV.
Just the way you went, Chad.
Chad. I just feel like Chad sounds like a real American name. And apologies if you're not. You could live in Torquay and not be American. But as soon as Chad's just like Chad, and if you don't want me to call you that, say no, Flex, that's really offensive. I don't want you to call me that. And I'll stop. I will just call you Chad. But I just feel like every time I see you now in there, I'm going to give it that. I'm going to get the gun out. John Wayne, Chad. It sounds like a proper, American mid-millennial kind of, it's just proper, proper.
High school American. In America, with the lockers. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So, yeah, exactly. So there you go. Smash the like on the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. It is a big one. Let's hope we can win. I don't know what's going to happen. Buckle in. I promise you, I'm going to try to promise you that I won't get that angry if we lose bad. I'll try. Because we're expecting the worst, hoping for the best. Innit? Really? That's where we're at. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, we're out of here. Take care. See you. Oh, match view. Tune into that with KG and others as well. Make sure you watch the game live. Straight after that, as per usual, you guys know this all the time now. This is the script on match day. Straight over to the full-time view with Owen. Big up to the new members, Chad. And who was the other member as well? And Ruben. You guys can now call in if you like. Maybe Chad can call in and say what his name properly is. Because now you can, because you are a member. So yes.
Don't call me Chad.
Yeah, exactly. You could be that. And you can call in and have your say after the match as well. And obviously we'll have reaction from Old Trafford. Haven't worked out whether that'll be via mix zone, which if we lose, what's the point in even going there, or whether that'll be out on the concourse. I haven't worked that bit out yet. It's very stressful right now. See you then. Take care. Peace.